If you think the ocean is silent at night, you've never truly listened. Rain struck the coastal station in restless waves. Wind pressed against reinforced glass. Inside, green lights blinked steadily across aging radio equipment, casting a faint glow over metal desks and tangled cables. It was just after midnight when the first tones broke through the static. 3 clean pulses, sharp, evenly spaced, then silence. Liza Santos slowly adjusted the receiver, narrowing the frequency range. Static softened. The tones returned exactly 30 seconds later. 3 high, a pause, 1 lower pulse. Miguel Torres stepped beside her, eyes fixed on the waveform display. "That's structured," he said quietly. Outside, lightning flashed across the Philippine Sea, illuminating distant waves. The storm intensified, but the transmission did not distort. It remained steady, controlled. They began recording immediately. Every pulse was logged, time-stamped, mapped. By morning, the pattern had repeated more than 100 times. Perfect intervals. No drift, no atmospheric scatter. Signals like this are often used in maritime coordination. Public naval communication manuals describe structured timing pulses used during fleet synchronization drills. They're not messages in plain language. They're precision tools. But those pulses are usually shielded. This one was exposed. The second night, the signal returned at the exact same hour. 3 tones. Pause. Low pulse. Liza leaned forward, isolating background harmonics. Beneath the primary waveform, she detected a faint secondary rhythm. Subtle, almost hidden. She printed both layers and spread them across the desk. Miguel contacted regional monitoring authorities. Satellite tracking data showed a foreign naval fleet conducting scheduled exercises in international waters just beyond the country's exclusive economic zone. Officially, everything was routine, but the timing aligned too precisely. The third night brought heavier rain. Thunder rolled over open water. Power flickered once before backup systems stabilized the room in a low amber glow. The pulses grew stronger, not louder in volume, but clearer in structure. And then something changed. The final low pulse extended by less than half a second. It was almost unnoticeable. Almost. Liza replayed it 3 times. "That's not interference," she said. The deviation appeared again 30 seconds later. The pattern was evolving. Naval analysts joined remotely, projecting maritime traffic maps onto a secondary screen. Formation shifts within the fleet corresponded closely with subtle timing changes in the signal. This wasn't random transmission. It was synchronization testing. During coordinated drills, fleets often calibrate internal timing systems. According to publicly available maritime defense research, vessels maintain strict interval discipline to ensure maneuver accuracy across large distances. But there was one detail no one could ignore. The pulses intensified during atmospheric disturbance. Storm surge, electrical instability, environmental noise. It was as if the fleet was measuring detection thresholds, testing how coastal systems responded under pressure. Inside the station, the air felt heavier. They weren't being contacted. They weren't being challenged. They were being observed indirectly. Liza adjusted the receiver gain slightly, lowering sensitivity by a controlled margin. A minor environmental shift, subtle enough to avoid disrupting monitoring, but enough to alter reflective conditions along the coast. 30 seconds passed. 3 high tones returned. Pause. Low pulse. But the interval spacing had shifted, mirroring her adjustment. Miguel exhaled slowly. "They're calibrating," he said. The fleet remained outside territorial boundaries. No vessels advanced. No aircraft changed trajectory. There was no escalation, only awareness. Over the next 2 nights, deviations continued. Slight extensions, micro adjustments. Every change corresponded with environmental or monitoring variations. Analysts concluded it was likely a coordinated exercise designed to evaluate electromagnetic response behavior along regional coastlines. In simpler terms, they were testing who was listening. The realization was quiet, but powerful. This small civilian station, overlooking restless water, had detected and interpreted structured naval timing pulses from a foreign fleet in international waters. Not by accident, by attention. On the seventh night, the pattern stabilized. 3 high, pause, low, no deviations. Weather cleared, seas calmed. Satellite imagery confirmed the fleet preparing to depart its operational zone. The signal weakened gradually over the next 48 hours before dissolving back into static. Silence returned. Fishing vessels resumed routine chatter across open frequencies. Cargo ships transmitted port approach schedules. Weather buoys relayed pressure readings. But inside the station, something had shifted permanently. Liza removed her headset and looked toward the horizon through reinforced glass. The ocean appeared calm again, as if nothing unusual had passed through its electromagnetic space. Yet she knew better. The sea is never silent. It carries trade routes, weather systems, rescue operations, research missions, naval drills. Every movement across water leaves an invisible trace above it. And sometimes those traces reveal structure. The recordings were archived carefully, logged, cataloged, reviewed in subsequent training briefings as an example of disciplined monitoring and pattern recognition. No confrontation occurred. No headlines declared crisis. No dramatic escalation unfolded. Just a structured transmission, a response, an acknowledgement, because the most important detail wasn't the fleet. It wasn't the storm. It wasn't even the deviation. It was this. Someone noticed. In a world saturated with noise, attention is rare. Frequencies overlap constantly. Static masks subtle shifts. Most signals pass without scrutiny. But that night, 3 tones broke through. And someone listened closely enough to recognize intention within repetition. The station lights still glow every evening. Headsets still rest against focused ears. Waveforms still rise and fall across green monitors, because vigilance isn't loud. It isn't dramatic. It's patient. 3 tones. Pause. Low pulse. And somewhere beyond the horizon, fleets will continue testing coordination in open waters. The difference now? Someone on shore is listening. If you found this story fascinating, subscribe and join us as we explore the hidden signals shaping our world. Leave a comment below. Would you have recognized the pattern or let it fade into static?